help them transition off and eliminate symptoms of post-birth control syndrome. She is a speaker, women's health advocate, and a medical advisor for one of the first data-driven apps to offer women personalized birth control recommendations. Her website is drbrighten.com. That's DRBRIGHTEN. Such an honor. I'm holding your book in my hand, Beyond the Pill, and I have to tell you, just thank you so much for writing this book.
Oh, thank you. That is so kind. I am so excited to see how many women are enjoying finally getting the answers to questions I think we've all asked our entire life.
Well, I have a few of my own, I'll tell you, because I feel like, but we'll get into it as we get into this conversation a little bit, and I'll tell you what I was thinking about. But so how many women, let's start with this, how many women are currently on the pill, and are these women primarily using it to prevent pregnancy?
Yeah, this is a bit of a shocker because what we've come to understand is that out of the 11 million plus women in the United States using hormonal birth control, more than half of them, in fact, almost 60% of them are using it primarily for symptom management, which, are things like heavy periods, painful periods, acne, irregular periods. And so things that really have a root cause, and there's reason why, women are often being passed the pill with no discussion as to what this might mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's so funny. I mean, and you hear that too, like, oh, my daughter got on the pill for acne. And I always thought maybe it was a little bit of an excuse to put someone on the pill without them thinking, oh, because she's having premarital sex, which is, which is normal, by the way. It really is for women, just like men, young boys, to want to be sexually active. I mean, and the pill really did give women so much freedom, but there is so much that we need to know about it. There's so many side effects and so many detrimental things that it can do to a woman's body and her mind. Agreed?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And that's exactly what I aim to do in Beyond the Pill, is that it is 100% your right to use hormonal birth control, whether that's for pregnancy prevention or whether that's for symptom management. But in making that decision, you deserve to have all the information so at the end of the day, you know you made the best decision for yourself. And at the same time, know what symptoms to look out for, know how to care for your body while you're on it, because it's a medication. Even though, it's become so ubiquitous, we kind of forget that. It is a medication. There are steps you need to take to maintain your health, and there are reasons that you might want to have a conversation with your doctor. Like if your mood starts to tank, or you're finding that you're becoming fatigued or having other symptoms coming up that shouldn't be ignored or dismissed.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are some of the issues that the pill can cause that women aren't told about?
One of the biggest things that is not discussed is nutrient depletions. And so, it's so interesting to me because we understand in medicine that with medications like metformin, which is for diabetes, that depletes B12, we tell a patient to take B12. However, with hormonal birth control, it depletes the selenium, zinc, magnesium, folate, B12, CoQ10. I mean, the list keeps going. It depletes a whole lot of nutrients, and yet we don't tell women you need to take a multivitamin or prenatal along with this hormonal birth control. So nutrient depletions is one thing because, just magnesium being depleted alone is going to impact hundreds of metabolic pathways in your body.
Well, it's funny. As soon as you said magnesium, I was thinking that's one of the most important things you need to alleviate anxiety and depression, right?
Oh, yeah. And then you think about selenium, which is involved in producing thyroid hormone. That's where, your thyroid hormone gets low. Now you're finding yourself fatigued, you're having depression, your hair is falling out. Like, nobody likes any of that. In addition to that, we've come to understand that hormonal birth control impacts the gut in a similar way as antibiotics.
Really?
So I know. This is like a big one. It's not. We know antibiotics lower microbial diversity, so how many good gut bugs we have. And now we understand that those gut bugs do everything. Well, hormonal birth control in the research has been compared to antibiotics and how it decimates the microbiome. And yet the research will say, well, it's similar to, what we see in antibiotics, but nobody stays on antibiotics for decades at a time, which is a really new phenomenon in women's health, to see women who have never ovulated in their lifetime because they were put on birth control so young.
Yeah, I was one of those. I was on birth control at 18 years old. I was, and I do think that it did. I think it's kind of funny, and this is what I was going to ask you, is the connection between that and anxiety, because that coincidentally is the same time I developed like an anxiety disorder, and I do think that it was due to an imbalance in my body hormonally and nutritionally.
Oh, yeah. And, in Beyond the Pill, there's an entire chapter about mood health and making this connection for women. But we understand that progesterone, which is a natural hormone that we make in our body, it stimulates the GABA receptor in our brain, which helps us feel really chilled out and calm. Progestin, which is synthetic man-made in a lab, that comes in hormonal birth control. It doesn't have those effects. Now, how does the pill work? It works by shutting down ovarian function. Your brain and your ovaries stop communicating to each other. And when that happens, we don't ovulate, which is fantastic if you don't want to have a baby. But without ovulation, there's no progesterone and there's no GABA stimulation in the brain. That's only one of the many pathways I outlined that, really can push you towards anxiety when you begin hormonal birth control.
I talked my daughter into getting off birth control, and because of learning about this, and then some other information that I read somewhere, because I really don't feel that it's your best option as a woman now. Now that I'm a little older, and I look back, I should have practiced other forms of birth control in order to not get pregnant. But it's so difficult because women are the ones that, if a pregnancy occurs, they're the ones lives that are the most affected, and so we I know other women out there are thinking, what do we do? Like, what do we do, Dr. Brighten?
Yeah, well, let me just take a moment to say, that's exactly, if you read the dedication in my book, I dedicated the book to every girl who was ever told she asked too many questions or talked too much. But I also dedicated it to the women who went before us to show us that there's another way. And this is something that, we so need, is women sharing their stories. Because just like you said, now that I'm older and I look back, I'm talking to my daughter, the conversation is different now. Because at one point, birth control was, it was a woman's right to be able to control her reproductive health so that we could graduate college. I mean, I'm a first-generation college student, and I used the pill for 10 years. It was absolutely instrumental. But you're right, there are other ways. And so in Chapter 13 of my book, I outline the non-hormonal contraceptive options that we have available. And in my book, I really aim to support you, that if you do choose to use hormonal birth control, that you're supported in that and you know exactly how to care for your body. But a lot of women, and we're seeing especially with the millennial generation, they're turning away from hormonal birth control at a higher rate because they really want to understand their body. And one tool that they're using for that is fertility awareness methods. Now, what's fascinating and I think very exciting in women's health is that last year, so in 2018, the FDA actually approved the first piece of technology known as natural cycles that leverages fertility awareness method as a contraceptive device for women. So we now have femtech devices where you wake up in the morning, you take your temperature, it plugs into an algorithm, and then it spits out information for you so you know if you're in your fertile window or not. When we, I will say, so when you go to every medical school you go to, we all get taught that don't tell women about fertility awareness method because the risk of pregnancy is too high. But it was really eye-opening to me when I got into the research and found that, with the typical use of the pill, it's only 91% effective. That means 9 out of 100 women will get pregnant while using the pill. And with perfect use is when it gets up to 99%. However, when it comes to fertility awareness method, that is 99% effective with perfect use. And the reality that I came to learn, my patients taught me this, is that women who are using fertility awareness method, they're monitoring their symptoms, they're doing their basal body temperature, they are actually really invested in getting it right. And so their perfect use rate, I think, is much higher than what we see with the pill, which most women, when they use the pill, they take a back seat to their reproductive health because they trust that this medication is going to protect them. Now, other forms of non-hormonal contraceptives, we have cervical caps, diaphragms, condoms, which everybody should be using condoms if they're not in a monogamous relationship, and that's definitely a discussion we should be having.
Oh, absolutely.
It blows my mind how many girls are, or young women are given the pill, and I have a discussion with them about when we need to use barrier methods. And they're like, well, why? I'm on the pill.
Yeah.
Well, HPV is a thing. Like, human papillomavirus is the number one sexually transmitted infection. It leads to cervical cancer, which I outline in my book about the correlations with that and hormonal birth control. That, we should be having these discussions with women. And then, of course, there's the IUD options. So we've got, a plethora of these hormonal IUDs now, all progestin-based, and we have one non-hormonal IUD, which is the copper IUD or the Paragard.
Yeah.
That works wonderful for some women. If you have endometriosis, heavy periods, painful periods, that's not going to be an option for you. And so in Beyond the Pill, I try to take you through all of these options. I have a table for you. If you're someone, I don't want to read everything, I just want to go through pros and cons, I set up a whole table for you so that you can really understand your options, go to your doctor, and have that conversation.
Well, I want to have you on again because there's so many things that we need to talk about, seriously, but we are out of time. We're going to have to go to break here in just a minute. But so many people out there, you brought up about condoms, so many young people out there, not even old, not even young. There's just so many people out there that don't use a condom. And that is like so risky. It is very, very risky, especially in this swipe society that we live in now. I mean, I heard a story yesterday about this young man who's on Tinder that can basically, it's just astounding to me how easily people will enter into a sexual a sexual encounter, if you will, with the swipe of an app. And put themselves at risk for all kinds of venereal disease and ultimately pregnancy. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so important that, we are having this discussion. I think it's amazing that you're having me on your radio show. We're getting this information out to women so that they can be more educated and informed.
Yeah, I think that, this is great information, and I'd love to have you come back so we can talk a little more about it. And Dr. Jolene Brighten, she is the author of the book Beyond the Pill, a 30-day program to balance your hormones, reclaim your body, and reverse the dangerous side effects of the birth control pill. Dr. Brighten, thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.
Oh, thank you so much, and I appreciate the work that you're doing in this world and educating women.
Oh, thank you so much. That's sweet. Thank you. And I look forward to speaking with you again.
Sounds great.
All right, everyone. More coming up with Jolene. Stay tuned. You're listening to One Life Radio.
Kitchen and bath event. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 2/13. Exclusions apply. U.S. only.
Call us crazy. We don't mind. Crazy Water's all-natural mineral water has been making people feel good inside and out since 1881. As the only mineral water bottled in Texas, their water boasts loads of benefits that other bottled waters can only envy. Pretty crazy, huh? Find it at your local Whole Foods, H-E-B, Central Market, or have it shipped right to your door. Visit them at drinkcrazywater.com. That's drinkcrazywater.com.
Hi, this is Vaughn Eaglin. As a licensed professional counselor and supervisor, I spend my career helping people cope with emotional problems. But today, I want to talk to you about nutrition. People ask me all the time for nutrition and weight loss advice, and I always find myself recommending a raw vegan protein, a food supplement called Warrior Blend by Sun Warrior. I wasn't always active and fit. In fact, I was very overweight as a child, and as a counselor, I must emphasize the importance of the mind-body connection. A clean body helps with a clean mind. Start today with Sun Warrior Blend Raw Vegan Protein. For more information, go to sunwarrior.com and start living clean today.
Wellbeing Journal is a remarkable bi-monthly health publication esteemed by intelligent readers worldwide. It's available in print or digital, single issues or subscription. Its focus is on living a happy, healthy life and preventing or healing illnesses naturally. Preventing or healing cancer, arthritis, cardiovascular conditions, and digestive issues, as well as nutritional solutions for optimal health are regular subjects. Learn more at wellbeingjournal.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Barker. This is my friend Benny. Before you buy cosmetics, personal care, or household products, you be sure they have not been tested on animals. Everything from floor cleaner to shampoo is poured into animals' eyes and down their throats. They suffer intensely. Some even go blind. The price is never right for products tested on animals. Visit PETA.org for a list of cruelty-free companies.
Hi, I'm Charlize Theron with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Almost all the puppies for sale at your local mall were churned out by breeding facilities called puppy mills. Constant confinement drives the dogs mad. They are impregnated continually until they can no longer produce a litter. If you choose a dog from the mall, a dog you could have saved from the pound will die.
Contact PETA to learn how you can make a difference at 757-6